I not on?
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's recording.
Because sometimes I go back and listen, and I love it. Because then
Yeah.
I can, you know, ponder and think more. And so, anyways, it's a whatever. I don't. I'm
Yeah.
not.
Okay. Well, it's just if you have to leave at 4, yeah. Good if I think it's good if you have time constraints when you send your poem in, if you can let me know, and then I can kind of be aware of that. But we can
Yeah.
do that. Uh, let's see.
Or-
I'm just saying, typing a note to
Okay,
Ann
try
here.
again. Okay,
Uh,
bye. Anne can't get in.
oh, let me
Can you
see.
shoot her another? I told her to use yesterday's, but she can't get in. She is certainly interested, quote unquote.
Yeah, let me resend her the link.
Thank you.
Uh, and there we go. Okay. So let's start. And I was I just resent it. Okay, so hopefully Anne will be able to get in. Um, so let's start with Becky's poem. I know that no, I'll tell you what. We'll start with Victoria's poem because I know a number of folks have sent poems in that have to deal with that suggest everybody is fairly up. A lot of us are upset about the results of the recent election, and I think it's sometimes good to let people get that off their, express that. So do you want to? So do Becky's second. Um,
Sure,
Victoria, do you want to?
whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Sorry. That Victoria, if you want to go first, I'll bring up your poem. Just a minute.
We usually have the person who brought the poem read it first, then we put it up on the screen. So we can just hear it before we actually read it.
That is what we have done. Yes. Okay. You want to? Yeah,
Sure.
that'd be great. You want to
Sure.
start with her?
Okay. It's called Pity the Nation, and in parentheses, it says after Cahill Gibran, and it's a poem by Lawrence Ferlinghetti. You probably all know this poem. Pity the nation whose people are sheep and whose shepherds mislead them. Pity the nation whose leaders are liars, whose sages are silenced, and whose bigots haunt the airwaves. Pity the nation that raises not its voice except to praise conquerors and acclaim the bully as hero, and aims to rule the world by force and by torture. Pity the nation that knows no other language but its own, and no other culture but its own. Pity the nation whose breath is money and sleeps the sleep of the too well fed. Pity the nation, oh, pity the people who allow their rights to erode and their freedoms to be washed away. My country, tears of thee, sweet land of liberty.
Mm.
When was it written?
Oh, I don't know, Beth. I have to apologize. I look I look forever for the right poem, and
Hmm.
then none of them ever fit. And then this one was the one I said, this has got to be it. And so I chose it, and I've been just so I had to discombobulated, and I apologize. I will.
That's all
Um,
right.
it was written a while ago, that's for sure. I know that.
Yeah,
That's just
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah.
I want to
really. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
2007.
2007.
2007.
mm,
Wow.
mm,
Who was that then? Bush?
Bush.
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 yeah.
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 Bad
Yeah.
enough. Gosh, now I'd praise him if he came back.
Yeah, he was born in 1919, March 24th, and he died February 22nd, 2021.
Oh,
And He says his most famous poem, he's best perhaps known for The Coney Island of the Mind, which I am not familiar with. I'm familiar with this poem,
Hmm.
but I think I've been reeling, kind of catatonic at times. I don't even know what I've been. Because I was prior to the election, I've been suffering from depression, and it's like I'm always depressed. It's just a matter of degree. Every day
Mm.
is a little different. I was feeling
Oh,
sort of coming out of it, but um, yeah. So I think it sort of speaks for itself in a way. I don't know. I don't want to pity. I don't want to be. I don't want this to be a pity party. And everyone, a lot of people are saying, we just got to organize now. We got to
mhm.
be kind and create community and, all this good stuff. But it's kind of a commentary, I think, on people. Some people have been misled. Um, some leaders are liars. Sages, people don't speak up. Certain people are silenced. Bigots haunt the airwaves. It sounds like it's made for today.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's just,
too many of these lines fit
Yeah.
so well, and that's the pity of it. Um, I
Did you put it out, Clark?
Yeah, let me do that. No, I haven't yet. Thanks. Let's see. Hold on here.
Well, the pendulum always swings, Victoria. It swings one way and
Yeah.
then it swings the other, and it seems rapid to us in our lifetimes.
I'm just
Mhm.
afraid that while it's swinging, a lot of people are going to be hurt and killed even. I mean, it's like, yeah.
Fortunately true.
Hmm.
I'll make this a little bigger.
It's perfect. It's really
That's
good.
fine.
It
Yeah.
really,
You can
Yeah.
see it like that. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. It's really clear and it's so loud. I love the volume because I think yeah, thank you for paying attention to volume and size of poems.
Yeah.
I'm always saying, could you repeat that like 100 times a day lately?
Last two lines, my country tears of thee. Wow.
Hmm.
Powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It almost sings. It's like a song.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the title after Khalil Gibran? What is behind that?
I think that there is a Khalil Gibran poem that has some of the phrasing of this poem, but with a very different message. Is anybody familiar with that? The Khalil Gibran? I mean Gibran.
I'm
With
familiar
him.
with him, but I'm not
With
sure.
him,
Yeah.
but I don't know
Yeah,
the poem.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he's got a poem that, but I think it's more positive coming from a different time. Um,
Mm.
but
This feels very biblical,
Oh gosh, that
like a
does.
psalm, or, it just feels very, when you were saying it sings, I think it sings, but in the way of this weighty music of biblical music.
Anne has joined us. Hi, Anne. We can't see you.
ah, did you admit
Yeah,
her?
yeah, she's there.
Oh, okay, great. So she should be
She can
visible
hear
now.
us, I think.
Can
Yeah.
you hear us?
Maybe the microphone's not on yet.
Can you hear us yet?
And your video and your audio are not there yet.
This is something about Ferlinghetti. It says throughout his career, Ferlinghetti consistently challenged the status quo, asserting that art should be accessible to all people, not just a handful of highly educated intellectuals. His poetry engages readers, defies popular political movements, and reflects the influence of American idiom and modern jazz. So there is a musical influence.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And let me look. There's one other. It doesn't say. He says topics of interest often include love, religion, and morality, which the metaphysical poets considered through unusual comparisons, frequently employing unexpected similes and metaphors in displays of wit. The inclusion of contemporary scientific advancements were also typical. Yeah,
I've
I'm trying to
found
put.
the original.
Oh,
I
oh,
think the thing that makes me think of it as a biblical quality or psalm, I'm trying to pull back my Catholic knowledge, which is being a little vague at the time, but the pity the nation, pity the, it's the repetition. It's like the Beatitudes or that. I'm trying to think, what is it like? But it's that repetition.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It
I've found the
it does,
original.
right? It has that feel quite a bit. I like the line. I'm very interested in the line of and the idea of the nation whose breath is money. It's sort of like we think
Yeah.
he's casting the country as a person, as if it's an individual human, and then breath as money. It's just a really interesting extra step in terms of I don't know.
Mm.
I just find it a very interesting line. Um, Boy, I'd like to help Anne. Hey, Anne, can you hear us? I wonder if I call
And
her.
the line and those bigots haunt the airwaves. Isn't that true?
Mhm. I've found the original, if anybody.
Oh,
Can you post the link on the chat?
I don't know if I can. Let me hang on a minute. Let me go back to it. Yeah, I probably can. Hang on. It's very short.
Can you read it?
I can. Let me try both of those things. Copy.
The isn't this the original?
Well, I didn't find the Ferengeti. I
Oh,
found the
oh, oh, I
Gibran.
see what you mean. I see what you're saying.
Gibran one.
I see.
okay.
Hang on a second. Okay. So here's the original. Pity the nation that is full of beliefs and empty of religion. Pity the nation that wears a cloth it does not weave, eats a bread it does not harvest, and drinks a wine that flows not from its own winepress. Pity the nation that acclaims the bully as hero and that deems the glittering conqueror beautiful. Pity the nation that despises a passion in its dream, yet submits in its awakening. Pity the nation that raises not its voice, save when it walks in a funeral, boasts not except among its ruins, and will rebel not save when its neck is laid between the sword and the block. Pity the nation whose statesman is a fox, whose philosopher is a juggler, and whose art is the art of patching and mimicking. Pity the nation that welcomes its new ruler with trumpetings and farewells him with hootings, only to welcome another with trumpetings again. Pity the nation whose sages are dumb with years and whose strong men are yet in the cradle. Pity the nation divided into fragments, each fragment deeming itself a nation. Khalil Gibran.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I find that even more scarily prophetic
yeah.
in many ways. Yikes.
Yikes. But if Ferengeti
Well,
hadn't brought that, we wouldn't know about this one probably. Amazing.
Yeah.
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 I
Yeah.
like the pity the Gibran. Is it Gibran or Gibran? Does
I
anybody
don't know.
Don't know.
Okay, that guy. Pity the
That guy.
nation. Pity the nation whose sages are dumb with years and whose strong men are yet in the cradle. Wow. I mean, some of the images, wow. Pity the nation whose statesman is a fox,
Ugh. I
whose
hate that one.
philosopher is a
Yeah.
juggler, and whose art is the art of patching and mimicking. Oh my God. I
How
like
about
this one. Pity a nation that despises a passion in its dream, yet submits in its awakening. What does that mean to you guys? Pity a nation that despises a passion in its dream, yet submits in its awakening. I don't understand that one.
Well, that's a tough one.
All right.
I don't know.
That one's got me stumped. Any
Yeah.
any takes
Yeah.
on it? No
Yeah.
idea.
Idealism?
Well, yeah, well, that's good. It's something to think about, and maybe we can use that poem next
Yeah,
month in
yeah.
January.
Oh, yeah.
Ron, but
Just amazing.
hopefully by then we'll have blocked all of Trump's worst initiatives. Uh, um,
Thank you, Victoria.
yeah, thanks. Let's what um, Becky, would you like to go next?
Sure.
Um,
I sent this a long time ago, quite a while
I know.
before the election.
Can you
I
stop
know.
sharing? It's a little distracting.
I'm sorry.
I will stop sharing just a minute. Yeah. And
Can we just try to tune in to Anne?
Yeah, I'm
Just-
just
Well,
texting her again.
I tried. I sent her a chat.
Yeah, I saw that.
Do you have her phone number, Christina?
I do.
No, but Christy's connecting with her.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
I
don't have
called
her.
her, and that's when I stepped away and called her and came back, and I've texted her twice now. I told her she's in without volume or video. So I don't think she has them blocked because it doesn't indicate that on the side.
Right.
Yeah.
So she said she was having trouble, but she often does have internet trouble. So maybe that's what's the problem.
Tell her to shut everything down, close it, and then open it up again. Sometimes that works.
Yeah, I wonder if she's even looking at my texts. I'll try. Close out and re-enter.
It's all good. It's all good, man. Life is too much these days.
Yeah, but she said she wanted to be in, so I know she wants
Yeah.
in, and she
I
sent
know
her
she
poems.
wanted to do this. She sent two poems actually. It's
Bummer.
yeah. All
I have
right.
a question. I have a question. Usually
Yes.
when it's being recorded, it says this is being recorded and you have to say okay, and I didn't get that notice. So I just want to,
Okay.
because,
I have a little thing up there that says recording.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
And I did get the notice.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hit okay. I saw the
I see
okay.
Okay,
Upper right sound.
thank
So-
you, guys.
You're welcome. Becky, do you can you bring up that link, or do you want me to, I can start sharing it
I
right away?
don't think so. Do you want me to read it first?
If you have it,
I have the poem.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, why don't you read it and then
The
I'll,
book.
okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I heard her on NPR one day, and she was so funny. And she said she didn't think of herself at all. Her name is Lindsay Rush. Didn't think of herself at all as a poet. And then she created Mary Oliver's Drunk Cousin. And a lot of poems about women, women in all different stages. So this one is called She's a Bit Much. You mean like a bonus French fry at the bottom of the bag? Like a champagne shower? Like triple texting good news? Like buying coffee for the person behind you in line? Or did you mean a bit much? Like an unexpected upgrade to business class, or theme parties, or the band pretending to go off stage and then coming back for an unforgettable encore? Perhaps you were referring to that thing of being astonished by a sunset, or how puppies flop around when they learn to run, or the way some people take karaoke really seriously. Maybe you just meant sprinkles, confetti, balloon drops, witty comebacks, generous tips, fireworks, water slides, serotonin, cherries on top, and the face that maybe we were put on this planet simply to enjoy ourselves. Then yes, I agree. She is a bit much. Aren't we lucky she's here? So I'm holding up the book. It's really delightful. And if you want to chuckle and laugh, and some sadness, you'll enjoy the book.
What's Lindsay's last name?
Rush,
Oh.
Rush.
Thank you.
Lindsay Rush.
Thank you.
Where's she from?
That I do not know. No, I don't. So
I guess you
I
can.
chose something light, and actually, I'm glad I did.
It's a break
As it's
from
been
the,
a pretty heavy week.
Uh-huh.
yeah. Um,
What a tipsy-turvy idea.
I
Because
know.
that is not, yeah. When we say she's a bit much, that is never what
That's
anybody
right.
means.
We do, don't we?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I like the idea, the sentiment of the poem very much. I've heard people say that, somebody is a bit much, and it's usually a little snide and usually a little bit of a put down. And I like the way she sort of turns that around,
Yes.
as an
Yeah.
idea.
I would say the phrase "she's a bit much" mostly applied to women.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I don't see that applied to men. He's a bit much. I
You
just
know, that's totally, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I guess she's taking it and running with it, so to speak. But
yeah.
I love the line about the poppies. Oh, it's poppies. Oh, shoot. Thought it was poppies, and I thought, oh my gosh, I wish she'd done a little more of that. And
Yeah,
poppies, shoot. They'll have
Oh,
to
well.
pop around when they learn to run. I was picturing the poppies running on the hillside and the
Oh,
wind.
Well, keep
I
picturing
love
that.
that. I love your image. I think
Yeah.
that
yeah, I do too.
Why was that tucked in there when it's so evocative and nothing and everything else is just so, you know, obvious?
yeah,
But it was puppies. Okay, sorry.
yeah, yeah. It was a little more obvious.
So visual. This is so visual.
Well, I love that it ends. Aren't we so lucky she's here?
Ah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's it's interesting. Anne had raised. I'm going to say just on the possibility that Anne is able to listen and just not able
She's
to.
not in right now,
No, she's not in. What a shame.
fun.
but she can hear the recording.
Yeah, she had
Oh,
mentioned.
good. Yeah.
She had raised a question about sort of, well, what is this a poem and the form of it, because it's sort of I think a prose poem, and it raises some interesting questions about, what is a poem, but regardless of form, I like the idea and of it very much. The message.
Right.
I like the fun of it, the frivolity. I love the poking fun, and it's just a fun poem. I like it.
Yeah, it's whimsical. And I agree with Christina. I love the last line.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's
It's
interesting the
also,
way she uses the slash.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's kind of fun that she doesn't bother to tie it up in a bow, that she just, like Carter said, the slash, she just throws a bunch of things at us. She's trying to get our attention, make us laugh, and make us get serious all at once.
Hmm.
I do like that people take karaoke really seriously.
Mhm.
Yeah, like,
That's me.
I know some. Oh boy, do I know some. Yeah, seriously. Whoa.
I'm one of them.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Oh, funny. That's really charming.
Yeah. So, is anything else we want to say about She's a Bit Much?
Nope.
Okay. Stop sharing. And would Beth, how would you feel about would you be ready to share your poem?
Okay.
I'll
I think we talked last time about what we had to say about the poet we would say after we read the poem, right? That we
yeah.
thought that might be a better thing. But
Yep.
I will say the name of the poem is called Dust, and the poet is Dorian Laux, Laux. I'm not sure how that's pronounced, if it's pronounced the French way or not. Or we anglicize it to locks or something. Anyway, I'll just say she was the wife of, so if someone may think back of Joseph Miller, who we had last time. That's how she came up. And I said, oh, I've got one of her books.
Mm.
I can't remember
Oh,
home was Joseph
oh,
Miller, but maybe it was Anne's. But anyway, we can. That's that's her connection.
okay.
So Dust. Without my glasses. Someone spoke to me last night, told me the truth. Just a few words, but I recognized it. I knew I should make myself get up, write it down, but it was late and I was exhausted from working all day in the garden, moving rocks. Now I remember only the flavor, not like food, sweet or sharp, more like a fine powder, like dust. And I wasn't elated or frightened, but simply rapt, aware. That's how it happens sometimes. God comes to your window, all bright light and black wings, and you're just too tired to open it.
Oh,
That's nice.
Oh my
that
goodness.
is nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
She nailed it for me. I can
Mhm.
totally relate.
Mm.
I think most of us have felt that way once in their lifetime, maybe.
Mhm.
Should I say something about her now?
Yeah.
Sure.
So she was born in 1952 in Augusta, Maine, Christy.
Oh.
Oh,
She graduated from high school and she liked writing poems and took some classes at the local college, but she was always also a single mom and worked various odd jobs in a gas station, a sanatorium, a donut shop, and
Wow.
and she didn't have much time to write. She was living in California, and this is where she met her husband, working at a restaurant, and her therapist gave her the address of a bookstore and told her she should go there and listen to poets read their work.
Oh.
So she did and became friends with them and started writing all the time and went on to write several books of poetry and win awards.
Oh my
Hmm.
goodness.
And then it says her books, and she says, this is a quote, every poem I write falls short in some important way, but I go on trying to write the one that won't.
Wow.
oh, wow.
Mhm.
God, do I like her.
Oh, totally.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Beth. I
Can
think
we
I'm in
look a
love
little
with
more
her
at this
now.
poem, the poem itself?
What was that?
Yeah, so I brought the poem up.
Yes,
Um,
we
would
see it.
anybody else like to look at the poem?
Yes, I want to take the time
We
to read
definitely
it.
want to see it.
Good. Can everybody see it?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you make it a little bit bigger? Is this the other one was really nice and big, but this one, oh, that,
Oh,
yeah.
that's good.
little bit better.
That's
Thank
better.
you.
This is so allegorical. You expect someone to say they're tired from working, but, really moving rocks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how many portions of our lives often feel.
Mm.
Yes.
Then I have to say that when you read it aloud, I even wrote down that part, told me the truth, but just a few words. And then I wrote down that part, but now I only remember the flavor.
Yeah,
Now I remember, yeah, right, only the flavor. That's incredible. We often feel that way. Even, let's say, waking up from a dream, you might not be able to verbalize what that was, but you come away with the flavor, and it
Yeah.
lingers. And that's
Yeah.
our earliest sense as well as our taste. So that's profound too.
And that we just missed something. I don't know if anyone's had that feeling. Oh, if I only, oh, I didn't quite get it. Oh, I just,
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
if I could just bring it back up, maybe that's the answer. Maybe we just searching for answers.
yeah.
That's true, Beth.
I I know how it can seem like that sometimes I've heard truths, things said that were just really difficult to take in, when and yet I sort of knew instinctively at the time that they were true. And maybe they were difficult to take in because they were painful or they contradicted some image of myself, notion of myself that I had, in terms of the kind of person that I felt like I am, and it contradicted that. But and to me, that's a lot of what this is about. That
Mm-hmm.
we can kind of recognize something about the truth without being able to take it in sometimes.
The contradictions she throws down too, that God is all bright light and black wings.
Loons.
Yeah.
And you're just too tired to open it.
It's sort of the human condition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What,
Okay.
anybody
Okay.
have any thoughts about the title in terms of this?
Well, that's what she says. It's like a fine powder, like dust. The
Ah,
memory,
ah,
the truth, the elusive truth.
yeah. You're right there. I had missed that.
Why is spoke underlined? Is that just part of your program's
Uh,
Yeah, that's just word. Sorry.
word? Okay, because
yeah. When I was typing
I
it, it
see.
underlined it too. Maybe I sent it and it
Oh,
was
I think
underlined in my Word document.
Yeah.
No,
Obviously,
Word's trying to make it
Dorianne.
plural, which doesn't make sense.
Oh, someone spoke.
yeah.
Oh,
It's fine. I just wondered if there was something I was missing. But Dorianne obviously is
No,
because
there's
it
probably a way
doesn't
to turn that
recognize
off,
that
but
spelling. Right.
I
That's
don't.
fine. That's fine. Just leave it.
So she says
I'm
someone
going to.
spoke to me last night, and she
Right.
ends up with God. Those are
yes.
two different. I don't know
Oh gosh.
if
Uh,
that's
Some
It's
people believe that we're all part of God, or we're God-like, or I mean, I kind of like to think of God not as something in on another plane, but in sometimes I think he's here in front of us. When a child laughs or something, I see it as that. Sorry about that. But I,
Totally.
I took the poem a little differently. How many times have I been driving or just sitting and I got the radio on and some author, somebody, may not even be an author, it could be a friend of mine on the phone, says something that like it strikes me to my core like, yeah, that's true. And
Mm,
I want to write it down and I don't write it down and then I'm forever upset with myself. And
Mhm.
it's those moments, those kernels of gold that
hmm
that sometimes just in a few words can clarify or inspire whatever. It's profound. It's so profound. It's it's God. You could say it's just it's yeah, and but it's interesting that she says all bright light and black wings.
Mhm.
That is interesting to me.
Yeah.
I think it's the other side of Mary Oliver. Mary Oliver is saying, look at this, look at this, look at this. And she's exhausted from moving rocks. Going
Mhm.
Yeah.
to the moving
Yeah.
the one side of the yard to the other. It's sort of like the metaphor of our life, just
Yeah.
Mhm.
and
is.
no, and so we miss what we miss.
Mhm.
It's interesting about how we become shut off to truth or to I guess we say truth, but to the kinds of things that Mary Oliver observes and
Mhm.
notices. Yeah.
This gives us a good shake about how we allow trivial or menial tasks to keep us from digging deep. Even if God comes to your window, we're so busy with our
Yeah.
day to
It's a
day,
very good point. I like
Yes.
sort of like, I mean, it's silly to compare it to the Beatles with Eleanor Rigby, but it's the same point.
it.
Yeah.
I think she was kind of a working class. She had multiple jobs. She sounded like she had a hard life. It wasn't like, it wasn't an easy peasy life. And I think
Mhm.
her exhaustion from
Mhm.
her lifestyle, her working class, perhaps roots, comes out. I'd like to read more poems of hers. Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Happy to
I
meet
have
her.
her book here.
Oh, do you?
Oh,
I think I showed it to you last
What
time.
we carry.
yeah.
Oh, I missed last month. What we
No.
carry.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about it.
Thank you.
It's a nice poem. I like it. Good
Very
suggestion,
nice.
Beth.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that we want to say about dust?
Well, I
Either
don't know
the
how
poem or about
profound,
dust in general.
I don't know how profound I mean, how deep we want to get, and maybe this is too personal, but I don't know, who knows, but I'm dealing with PTSD as well as prolonged grief syndrome. And looking at with cognitive behavioral therapy, I'm trying to look at the stuck points and this kind of thinking. It's either black or white. If this had happened, then this wouldn't have happened. All of these kinds of things. And one of the other things that I'm really dealing with is I thought the world was a if neutral place at best, but a positive. You did the right things would happen.
Mhm.
So that whole structure of what the world is, or what
Mm.
it really means, I've been thrown completely. And I'm just working my way. If I don't think I'll ever work out of it, but so maybe I'm a little bit too inclined to think of that window that I can't quite get to.
Mm.
But Beth, you do look at the bright light as well as the black wings, and that will save you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I appreciate your sharing that, and I can see how this poem has a kind of a place in the journey you're working towards.
Yeah.
All righty. Comments. Let's look at. I feel so bad about Anne.
Can she come on the phone? Could she, because sometimes you could give me your telephone number, maybe she'll pick it up and then she can listen at least.
I
Yeah,
put it
I'm
in
gonna
the
have to
chat.
go. Somebody can
Okay,
put
I'll
their
do it.
yeah.
phone.
You said you have to go at 4, right?
I'm
Yeah.
running.
So I wonder what happens if I call someone from inside chat, if I use that number. Do you think that calls them in?
No, just
No, I can bring her in through, let me see.
I've done it before on my phone.
hi,
If I'm
Anne. This is Clark. Hi, I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
having
good.
trouble getting in. I thought maybe
Oh,
I could
cool.
try to help you get in. Um, are you still at your computer or?
Tried clicking on it in chat, nothing
Yeah,
happened. I
yeah.
was hoping it would hook
So
up.
Oh.
when you click on the link, does it
you can just put the phone by
what happens?
you can hear us discuss.
Yeah.
I've had friends on Zoom that couldn't get on Zoom, so they call me and they're on Zoom through my phone, through our
Yeah.
phones.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
could-
Early
do you want
days.
to, well, the best we can do you want to just stay on the, just listen via the phone and then we continue? I'll turn the volume up and
Or
I
or
could
the
also
video.
send you the other, or maybe someone else could send you the other poems so you could access them from your computer or you,
It's good we videotape these. That's always good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm going to have to leave in a minute, but I want to thank Beth and
no.
Becky for their poems because I really, really liked them. And I'm sorry I can't be on, but I will, I always listen.
Oh,
Good,
good,
great.
good.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so you'll see
Good.
the videotape, huh?
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Good.
Yeah. So I
Hi,
Great.
Vicky.
Bye,
bye.
Vicky.
Yeah,
Ciao, everyone.
it might be
Bye
just
for now,
problems with
Victoria.
your
Figure out how to get out of here now.
I
Okay.
don't,
See that
yeah,
little
I
door in
don't
the
think I
corner
can
where it says
diagnose
leave?
it
Yeah.
from here. I'm sorry. So we'll, maybe offline we could try some tests after this is over, and just see if we can figure it out apart from the meeting at some point. I'm really, yeah, yep, 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 yep. All righty. Okay, we'll try again later. I'm sorry. All right. Bye.
Thanks for trying, Clark.
Thank you.
She's
Um,
gonna give up trying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too
Yeah.
bad.
I don't know if she's going to give up, but I can't help her. All right. Christina, do you feel like
Well, Christy hasn't gone. Christy?
That's true.
Yeah, we've got 3 folk left, right? Clark,
Right.
Christina, and me.
That's right. Yeah.
Mine's quite light, if
Okay.
that's of
Why
any
don't we do
good.
that?
There won't,
We can go from heavy to light.
yeah. I got a little busy the last week, so I didn't do a deep dive trying to find a poem that really sung to me. Instead, I simply typed in the words because I was in a snit at the moment. I typed in, "Don't quit."
Oh, good.
And up
Good.
came a poem from John Greenleaf Whittier.
Oh,
Very appropriate.
Yeah, and it actually is appropriate, but it's a semi-classic and you've heard it before and it's so trite. But if you can put that aside, we'll see.
Yeah. Let me see.
Okay, so
You want to go
don't
ahead and read
quit.
it?
Yeah, I'm gonna read it. I've got it on my cell phone here. Don't quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is strange with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure comes about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow, you may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell just how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when your hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. For all the sad words of tongue or pen, and here's the one we've heard so many times, the saddest are these, it might have been.
oh,
So he was 1807 to 1892, and the closest we can reach on when this exact one was written was early 20th century.
Huh.
So, we quote from it and it's trite, but it's also spot on, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so true. I mean, really, don't quit.
Clark, yeah, don't quit. Can you pull it
Yeah.
up, Clark? But I don't think you'll need a whole lot of time on it because it's so trite.
Oh,
I don't think it's so trite.
Oh, good.
I think it's just that we're so unused to the rhyming
Ah,
that gets in our way. That's just not how we respond as well anymore.
yeah. I hated this kind of poem when I was an undergraduate. And and I've come to appreciate this kind of poem quite a bit. I I, I didn't like poems that were didactic, at that time and that were and metrical, but I have absolutely come to appreciate metrical poems like this and just, what's going on within it in terms of the rhythm
Mhm.
and also even the message, the directness of the statement, and message
Hmm.
I can appreciate now.
It's when things seem worse that you must not quit.
Well, we'll have trouble hanging on to that thought, but we must.
We have to.
Yep.
Yeah, we have to.
I was thinking about Lincoln the other day and how many times he ran. for
Yeah.
president.
How many
And then
times did he
finally-
run?
3.
I didn't know that.
He failed so many. Well, he tried to get there, but the delegates didn't want him. He just tried so many times to do all these things. His businesses failed, and yet he still kept swinging away.
Yeah. Yeah.
It took a bullet to stop him, really.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there's not.
It's all
a lot.
tri it's trimeter. No, it's quatrain. I think it's like 4 beats in each line.
And things go wrong as they
And
sometimes will. On the road, your treasure. Yep, 4.
it's which makes it move sort of fairly fast.
Now,
Mhm.
why do you say 4? I haven't studied poetry like you have, but when I read that first sentence or the first line, there's more than 4 beats.
Oh, do you
When
think so?
things go wrong, as they sometimes will.
Will.
Yeah, the first line, well, it
When the
depends on
road
where you put the
treads
emphasis.
is
Okay.
uphill.
Okay,
I
it's
kind
where
of
you
read
put
it.
the emphasis that gives you the beat.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hear it that way in my head, but maybe that's because of high school and college. And it's also like a thesaurus almost. It makes me think of that charming Hillary woman who wrote Rhymes with Orange, that cartoon series, because nothing rhymes with orange. You can get your thesaurus out, but if you put orange in a poem, too bad.
You can do some very stretched rhymes, forage and
Orange and
that kind
orange.
of thing. But
Porridge, if you pronounce it.
Porridge.
porridge. But yeah, it is a stretch, really.
Oh
There's
dear.
nothing quite rhymes with yeah.
Nope.
But this is, yeah, this
Well,
is
it
good.
was basically just pulling out of there because I didn't have any time left. Sorry.
It's an interesting name, John Greenleaf Whittier. I don't know. I've never met a person with a name of Greenleaf. Last name,
Me
obviously.
neither.
It's
Me neither.
an unusual last name.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was a period of time when it seemed like a lot of American poets had 3 names and
Mm.
in the 19th century. I'm not sure why, but yeah.
My grandmother's or great grandmother's names, the family's name was Spoon.
Oh, what a
Really?
great name.
They were French, was Laquier, but then it got changed to Spoon.
Oh,
Say the French name again.
Laquier.
Laguerre. And then, of course, Ellis Island had their way, huh?
Well, no, they changed it themselves. They came down from Montreal, French Canada, into Upper New York.
oh, oh.
Spoon.
Hmm.
Well, anyway,
So,
get rid of that.
alrighty.
Thanks.
Hey, Christina, would you like to read?
Sure.
Uh-oh, I
My
froze.
poem in front of me. So, like others, I've been thinking about the election, trying to find something that made sense for me. And it's so hard to find something that encapsulates how the frustration I feel. But I selected this poem called Goodbye to Tolerance. And it's genial poets, pink-faced, earnest wits, you have given the world some choice morsels, gobbets of language presented, as one presents T-bone steak and cherries jubilee. Goodbye, goodbye. I don't care if I never taste your fine food again. Neutral fellows, seers of every side, tolerance, what crimes are committed in your name? And you, good women, bakers of the nicest bread, blood donors, your crumbs choke me. I would not want a drop of your blood in me. It is pumped by weak hearts, perfect pulses that never falter, irresponsive to nightmare reality. It is my brothers and my sisters whose blood spurts out and stops forever because you choose to believe it is not your business. Goodbye, goodbye. Your poems shut their little mouths. Your loaves grow moldy. A gulf has split the ground between us, and you won't wave. You're looking another way. You shan't meet again. We shan't meet again unless you leap it, leaving behind you the cherished worms of your dispassion, your pallid ironies, your jovial, murderous, wry-humored, balanced judgment leap over unbalanced, then how our fanatic tears would flow and mingle. And that was written by Denise Levertov, who I know nothing about, but I'll read a little bit about her from the internet.
Could we
British
tell
born. I'll just
about the poem first,
well,
and then
all
the
right.
poet
Go
later?
ahead. Go ahead. Put it up.
Thanks. It's, hold on. I'm sorry. Just a minute. Here it is. Okay. Something from the journal. Oh. Except that that's probably blocked.
I could share my version. Oh, there it is. Okay.
There it
Yeah.
is.
I can make it a little smaller. I knew how to do it. Oh, come on. That might be too small. Can people read it?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
That way you have to scroll. We wouldn't be able
I'll have to scroll. You know, you can't
to.
always get it all on the page. I really like this poem. I mean, I read it ahead of, I guess the privileges of facilitating is that you sometimes get to read the poems ahead. And, you know, I did a little bit. And oh boy, at times I felt myself in the position of the accused, you know, those who try to see every side of the issue. Who I think she's confronting. Anyway,
Tolerance.
um, do you want to read it? Well, I guess we'll let ourselves read it, and I'll scroll slowly.
Well, if you just we don't need the title and suggested by anymore. I think if you just go down slightly, we'll have the whole thing.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
No, there's more on another
There's
page.
more than shut their little
Oh,
mouth.
Yeah,
Remember
there's something
that
after
thing
that.
Christina said where you share 2 pages, you know, where you go to the top of the
Yeah,
and
yeah. Hold on.
2-page share. It should come up
Mhm.
and we should be able to minimize the video pictures of the Zoom rooms,
Yeah, hold on.
shove us aside or make us smaller. And it should, there you go.
oh, there it is.
That's the one.
Yeah. And let's see, do we have the,
Maybe go up, that's it. A
yeah,
little bit more.
that's it.
Is that it?
Yep. Your lows grow moldy is the first line of page 2.
Oh, is it? Okay. You know, it hurt my feelings a little bit because I have an appointment to give blood next week.
Oh,
Another little thing happened to me when I was listening to it. We were hearing about the T-bone steak and food, and then never tasting fine food again, neutral fellows. Sears of every side. I thought it was SEAR, like you were searing the steak,
oh,
cooking
Ah.
on each side. So I'm so glad to see the written word.
I like tolerance what crimes are committed in your name.
Oh,
hmm.
the first time he got in, I spent about a week trying ever so hard to look for something positive and reminding myself I couldn't change it for 4 years. Maybe something will come out of it. By the second week, I abandoned that thought.
Mm-hmm. It's
Oh,
it's really interesting poem and position to me that she's taking. I mean, I think in other times I would resent this poem, um, but given the sort of what's happened to tolerance right now,
Mm.
there was something on Facebook today I saw about what the reference to the paradox of tolerance, which was the idea that um, if we believe in tolerance and we tolerate positions and people who are intolerant, we can then end up giving up the 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 sort of society that we want, with rules of respect and
hmm.
everybody being listened to and so on.
I'm having a little trouble differentiating the, I mean, I'm assuming poets, that's the elite.
Mhm.
Those are exactly who whatever part of our country voted for this present administration, that's who they were against, the elite. The T-bone eating, the whatever,
Intellectuals.
intellectuals. But
Intellect. Yeah.
how is that so then he puts in the women and he's putting the women as different from the elite. The women are like the people who are kind, they give blood, they bake bread. I mean, as seems to me a different kind of thing than the elite, but she's also chastising them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
Yeah.
quite get putting the women in and what she's saying about, and you, good women,
Mm-hmm.
bakers of nicest bread, blood donors. I mean, that is so
It's
your
just like,
What I read in that is that criticizing women who are tolerant and good and doing just the right things and not fighting. That's what I interpret.
Not fighting.
I think I agree with your interpretation that it's yeah, she's critiquing sort of charitable work, without the work which is charitable but doesn't commit or
rise
doesn't
to the
doesn't create,
occasion.
yeah, or doesn't create change, social
Oh,
change, or doesn't change the system. She's
She's
and
pretty tough.
reasonable or not. And when I say this, I don't. I'm just trying to sort of say what the poem is. I'm trying to be dispassionate. Dispassionate and objective.
Well, look at that. Your pallid ironies, your jovial, murderous, wry-humored, balanced judgment, which is
Oh,
us trying to see the other side.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yes,
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, I don't say this poem is reasonable necessarily, but I do think it's effective. In terms of what, you know.
Well, the anger is so immediate.
Mhm.
And the
Mm.
goodbye to tolerance, that is so, I mean, the tolerance is considered a virtue, a good thing. And this is saying it's not at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. She's saying, commit or die. It's sort of a, you know, sort of political. I love the line. I mean, it's a terrific line, your pallid ironies. Um,
Mm.
and jovial, murderous, wry-humored, balanced judgment.
Worms of your dispassion.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one, Beth. I would have underlined it, but it's on my laptop.
It's on your last what?
I didn't want to use my pen on my laptop. I was
Oh.
going to underline that one, the worms of your dispassion.
Yeah.
Basically, get
Christina,
off.
are you going to tell us a little bit about the poet?
Sure.
Yeah, this might be a good time for that.
That I'd love to hear something about her.
Sure.
After
I'll just read
reading
this.
that.
It says she was a British-born, naturalized American poet. She was heavily influenced by the Black Mountain poets, and I don't know who they are, and the political context of the Vietnam War, which she explored in her poetry book, The Freeing of the Dust. She was recipient of the Lannan Literary Award for poetry. What's
Oh,
the Black Mountain poets? Anybody know about them?
no.
Yeah,
We know her
they
time.
were it's sort of they tended towards imagery and but they were loosely based in North Carolina. There was there were some workshops in North Carolina that attracted a group of somewhat similar poets.
Oh gosh, that was good, Clark. You really nailed it. Open form poetry, largely free of literary convention. Charles Olson, Robert Creeley, Robert Duncan, Ed Dorn. I don't know any of these people. Larry Eigner, Paul Blackburn. Do you know any of them?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you would.
Well, I can see it in
That's
context
not-
of the Vietnam War, where she's saying it's not enough, you woman, to go in and donate blood. You need to be out there marching in the streets.
Yeah, I don't know when the poem was written, but I would not be surprised if it was, in the late 60s or early 70s.
So she was married to Mitchell Goodman, an American writer, teacher, and activist. I don't know if anybody knows him.
Well, I have a
This is-
hard time with saying goodbye to tolerance. I get the tolerance is she's calling a pretty weak need here, tolerance.
Yeah.
But I think there's something about understanding that's important. I don't think you fight the other side unless you understand what drives them. And I think there's a lot of looking at ourselves as well as just blaming the other side.
Mm.
Tolkien was
I'm sorry that I just stick in this political thing. I left an irate message at Nancy Pelosi's Washington, D.C. office and her San Francisco office.
Oh, yeah, I heard her.
Democrats to start seeing who's to blame, Joe
Yeah.
Biden to blame or whoever's to blame. We
Yeah.
have so much to look at ourselves and see where did we, where have we changed as a party? And maybe
Yeah.
they wake us up. Maybe
I
that's
agree with you. I agree with you.
I
She's very
really
quick to
agree with
blame Biden.
big.
Yeah, I heard her. I really agree with
Oh
you.
dear, that's a shame. I haven't heard it yet.
I also said to her, you have a real You are 84 years old. You should have left a long time ago. You have a lot of nerve. Talking about his
Oh, Beth,
84
my
years old.
goodness.
Wow.
That was pretty strong, Beth.
Yeah.
Yes, that was.
Well,
Well, I'll tell you, instead of wondering, instead of blaming the young men in America right now, we need to be finding out why they don't find any comfort in the Democratic Party. What are our basic
Yeah.
tenets that are letting them down?
Well,
Or-
I don't know how you
Yeah.
feel, but I'm a big Bernie follower.
I
And
am
think
too.
he
Elizabeth
nailed it.
Warren.
He nailed it. The Democratic Party has left the working class. And how do you expect them to support you if you
well,
don't do things?
yeah,
Anyway, we're getting into real politics here, but
that's all right.
anyway, that's how I feel.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Obama, who did, I mean, go way, way back. Obama, who he didn't indict any bankers. He used Wall Street to get us out of the 2000, and all the people, that's the book I'm reading, all the people that lost their homes, their livelihoods, never,
Mhm.
never have worked their way back up.
What book are you reading, Beth?
Oh, The Unwinding, the one that I suggest.
Oh, the one you sent us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's interesting.
basically-
I'm not I don't know where I am on all this. I guess I'm mad. I'm mad at the country, basically. And I'm sure that's not so I'm not ready. I guess I'm still not too mad to go into the analysis of what what we ought to do different. But
Mm.
I'm glad some of you are there or have worked past that.
AOC is saying some really interesting things as well.
Yes.
Oh, really? Now that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
She won by a huge margin, and then I'll start. Sorry, I'll get off this, but
That's all right.
she won by a huge margin in her district where Harris lost. So she
Oh,
went to her
oh.
constituents and said, "Why did you vote for me and not vote for Harris?" And she's got all these replies back because
Oh.
she won re-election by a landslide in comparison to Harris.
Okay.
It's interesting.
She never wavers her support. She has integrity, like Bernie. She knows,
She-
who's are her constituencies. It's not the big money.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry.
rather than do a last poem, I'd like to maybe talk a little bit about process and just use. I know we have like 15 minutes left, and I don't feel I have to read the poem that I selected. I just want to share some things about what has worked for this for me and so far. And I started this in June, and I have really enjoyed having a fewer poems to read and having a little more time to talk about each one. I may be the only person who feels that way. But I considered the idea before we started this meeting of just proposing that we read like the first. So we've read 6 poems. Oh, no, wait a minute.
Read
Five.
Five, because we didn't read
I
Anne's
think.
poem because Anne couldn't get on. Okay.
Right.
So
right.
we've read 5 poems, and I don't know. For me, this would be about the max that I'd want to do, in this time that we set aside.
We've done a political discussion as well, which I'm sorry, I'm
That's all right. It's fairly
No,
germane.
it's
15
important.
minutes a poem. I think 6 is fine to me.
I'd
Mm.
rather have more, but that's
You'd
just
rather
my
have more.
personal vote. I'd rather have more. Like
Mhm.
mine
Alright.
didn't really require much time or attention, but
Yeah.
that's just happened to be that way. But we
Yeah.
did talk.
Nor
politically.
did mine, really.
Yeah.
My preference is to not set rules other than to say, we'll read what feels like we have time to read. And if anything doesn't get read, we leave it for the next month.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah,
Because sometimes there are poems that really take up more time and others that don't. And I wouldn't want to rush through the ones that we want to devote more time to talking about, nor you know, uh, you know,
Yeah.
Christina's was so, I mean, we needed to really get there. With Christina's was such a poem to
Yeah,
talk,
that
and it resonated so much with everyone, I think.
I
and
think
right.
I think I know Clark's my husband, but the way I would do it is that I would look at the content of the poems that were submitted and the way you would put together an album of music, something, there's a certain order that makes sense given the content of the poems. Otherwise, if you're just doing it through, I don't know, length or whoever wants to, you may not you may not have the right effect with,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
after the one I just read, I think probably nobody wants to read anything else. That was pretty strong. And there are
yeah,
times when there are
yeah.
simple ones and you say, okay, I can digest another poem. And anyway, that's how I would do it.
Or we go to something light afterwards.
Right.
Or
That
end with
that
some
that would work
end with something light.
if everybody sent poems in a day or two ahead of the date we do it, that would work because that would allow me time to look at them like that. But that isn't what happens for the most part.
Yeah, I sent Clark mine today.
Yeah.
And I
Special courier.
agree. If
But
we
Special
don't
courier.
have time, we go to the next time
Yeah,
Right.
so that
yeah,
we're
well,
not
that's one thing
rushed.
is, yeah, I mean, maybe that's one thing is that if it comes in the last day, maybe that poem doesn't get read.
That's
and
And
right.
I know that in other discussions, people self-monitor, like saying, "Oh, I don't think I want to read mine after that one.
Mhm.
I want to wait. Let's
We have
wait,
had that.
to get something
Right.
light before I read mine that's also a little heavy."
Mhm.
I think we all kind of self um, monitor our,
Yeah.
the participation.
yeah.
I think
Mhm.
that's how we naturally kind of came to this format when we started this a few years back is it does have an ebb and flow to it. And
Mhm.
I never wanted to say, you're number one, you're number two, or we're going to do it by the alphabet or any of that,
Yeah,
because there is a necessary amount of time for certain people to say. What I don't find helpful is super long biographies of the poet. I'd rather hear something, but keep it succinct like we did today. I found
yeah,
that quite helpful.
yeah,
So, because it eats up so much time. And
Yeah.
really, 90 minutes is kind of about as long as I can
Exactly. Yes.
concentrate. So
Right,
I'm a
right.
fan
Yeah,
Same.
of
I don't
that
think
amount.
we can do
So,
much.
yeah. So I like that. And I like the ebb and flow. And if it's too much, then I like the idea of asking one of us to just wait till next time. Keeping in
Yeah.
mind now, though, it isn't monthly, it's every other month, unless you all decide to go back to monthly.
you're
Right.
right. It's every other month. I'm
Right.
Yeah.
okay with every other month. I enjoy it.
Too. Yep.
Okay. Okay. And it
Yeah,
probably people are more apt to find them. How do you feel about it, Clark?
about what issue
The
particularly?
every other month versus
I'm
monthly.
fine with that.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah, the biographical stuff, what I want to avoid is like not dealing with the words of the
Mm-hmm.
poem.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes because of the difficulty of it, we may have a tendency to kind of sometimes to fall to something that we can look up, and we can look up online. And I don't enjoy that myself. What I like about this group is a bunch of really, intelligent people engaging with the words that are in front of us, and making sense out of it. But
We all vote for that sentence.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then, when I mean, now I'm going to look up Christina's poet because I think, my God, who is this woman? What's going on? So, we can do it on our own too.
That's so
Yeah.
true. Oh,
So I
yeah.
I
guess,
did want to
Clark, you
say,
should probably send out
So I think
like
sorry.
send out the poems afterward. these are the poems that were read.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd like to make them available beforehand if we can get them, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd have to put them on my Google Drive. Probably we're not going to read them ahead, just knowing the way things are. But I certainly will.
That's
Have
a
we been
thought.
doing that previously? I guess I have not
No,
done it
no,
so much.
I never shared the file until after. I mean, it might work for some. I personally would rather have the person who brought the poem read it first before I meet the poem, but that's just my
Mhm.
preference. Doesn't mean
Yeah,
the brief has to go that way.
yeah, yeah.
As
No,
well.
but
I
we've
don't want
been
I like
sending
the
them out.
surprise. I like the surprise.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, Beth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like.
Well, I'll
Okay,
save
so
my
I'll
poem
start. I'll
for
stop
Jan.
recording at this point.
Okay.